I just finished posting a short on Instagram and TikTok about the current situation that's happening, and today I don't really want to focus too much on the whole Clone Wars stuff, but I want you guys to know that the Clone Wars are coming back in overdrive, because what is happening in the clone market and just in general is absolutely unacceptable. What you're looking at is the clones that we have for Imagination, most of them, and now also for Symphony. So we just finished the Vibrato, the Symphony is coming, Imagination is also coming again, and just in case you didn't know, there's also Marwa Extrait coming soon. I really don't want to finish that video until I have personally been able to grab that. But for today's video, I want to focus on something a little bit different. I realize that it's becoming extremely hard to navigate through some of the better purchases that you can make in 2026 because of how many have come out. I mean, just look at this, for example. I would say that about 4 of these came out just this year alone. And so not only are you having to figure out what to buy, but what version of that fragrance to buy. So let's cut straight to the chase. I'm going to give it to you guys on a silver platter and tell you guys the best dupes that I've personally got in 2026. When I make these videos, I have you guys in mind. And I also think of what would I want to watch? What would I want to do? I'd want to save time, save money, and not have to go and buy 50 different dupes because your favorite influencer or reviewer is basically telling you that it's the best one. And so with a library like mine and having every single one of them and also making perfumes for a living, we're going to talk about some of the best ones. What I want you guys to know is that dupes are not the only thing that I buy. So I'll be making this video also with a bunch of niche, some of the best niche that I've purchased in 2026, and maybe even some designers. And I'm talking about making perfumes with IFF and with actual renowned and accredited perfumers. I'm not talking about just going to the market and, in data and mixing oils and alcohol. While I don't think there's anything wrong with that as a start, I'm honored and blessed to be able to say that I work with the world's most renowned perfumers. We've addressed the Hawa situation more than enough times. I'm gonna keep it short for you guys. Chrome has to be one of the best ones that I picked up this year. It allowed me to enjoy a scent DNA that I never freaking liked. It has a fruit bowl salad with a moussey vanilla, and it performs and it projects. When a fragrance is better than an original that I've paid over $300, value price point, considering the quality of the way that it smells and also its performance, it's next level. Never gotten less than 8 hours from this. The original does give you till the next day, but it's pretty screechy and synthetic. Chrome, easily one of the better ones. This definitely came out in the wrong season. Revolt Uprising by AROMATIX Prestige, one of their newest releases, but I've smelled this in the convention probably about 7 months ago. And it's a familiar DNA, but it's one that's done really nice and refined. There's only about 3 versions of this, and even one of those just smells like water. Like legit, that's the strength that it is. This is a fresh citrus combination with a warm and vanillic undertone that's also woodsy. Also that gourmand and ginger. It's very different. Different doesn't always mean good, but this one absolutely works. That zinginess, the citruses, also the contrasting and addicting vanilla makes this one of the better fragrances that I've purchased this entire year. You definitely want to keep it for more cooler weather, and this is inspired by Nishani's Ani. I think the last one I put my nose to was from French Avenue for a while ago, and this one definitely comes back in 2026, packing a little bit more of a punch and also having something that's a little richer and higher quality. But spraying this back on honestly reminded me of the fragrance and brought back my love. Total performance is not beastly. I get about 6 to 7 hours with this one. AROMATIX used to pack a lot of a punch with most of their fragrances, and I still feel like some of them do, but it hasn't really been anything that's beastly, at least to my nose. Still, absolutely worth it, and one of the most addicting ones I got this year. I'm really looking forward to making that video with originals and dupes and just overall the best ones, because I will also include clones in them, but they'll be facing head to head with some of the originals like Cedar Chic and Scarlet Sands. These are some of the best ones I bought this year, but this video is dedicated to just clones. So honestly, you guys, if you're not watching that video, you're missing out, because I know a lot of people love clone content, but make sure to watch all of my videos. I usually like to mix them all, and I think there's a lot more value because you get to see them in comparison to what most people would consider as the standard. And these usually do set the standard, and then everybody tries to dupe them. Kind of like Cedar Chic right now. A lot of people are thinking that people are talking about this because there are dupes coming, almost like this effect of setting it up. And honestly, the harsh reality is that some people do that shit, which in my opinion is extremely dishonest. It's one thing when a fragrance is very popular and a brand actually dupes it. It's another thing when it's planned, set up, and you pretend like you like the original, and then all of a sudden there are dupes. There are dupes coming out for this one, by the way, French Avenue included, and I haven't personally smelled it just yet, and I don't remember what it smelled like, and I'll still tell you to this day, I love this fragrance, one of the best white musk scents that has dropped in the last 10 years, regardless of clones, regardless of any of that. Moving on. As much as I love Aventus, as much as I love Club de Nuit, it's still the Extrait. The reason why I'm putting it in this is because a lot of people want to know the differences. A lot of people want to know my preference and why my preference is the way it is. But I have to admit that still in 2026, despite the fact that this has dropped, it would still be honest if I said that in 2026, this is one of the better drops. Because if I'm not mistaken, the Extrait came out last year. It absolutely is. But a separate question, so I guess we could still technically place this here. Now the separate question is, okay, Meeb, so since it's one of the best, would it replace the Extrait? And for me, bottom line is no. Bottom line is that they give you different experiences, but ultimately can be redundant because of the same fragrance. Now let me give you an example of, or let me explain to you the difference. Sharper and stronger, punchier citruses, and Extrait an all around, longer lasting, more calm, and just the entire fragrance as you know it. Not concentrated or intense per se, but just smooth and consistent, where this opens up with packing a punch, a lot more intense in that opening, and it's just a screamer, but not as much in total longevity. 35% concentration, just as much as the Extrait, focused a little bit more so on the top. And these differences is really when it starts to come into the territory of true fragrance enthusiasts. People who really knew about Aventus and people who really want to know about Aventus and their different variations and batches. This is for those type of people. And if you are one of those, it's still worth it. But if you're not, and you just want one of the better ones, let me make it very easy. These two would be essentially the best ones. Let's hover the Extrait. I don't know where it is right now, okay? I'm in the process of moving all of my perfumes again to Michigan. Yay. Extrait. This for me is a 10 out of 10. Overdose. This for me, it's like a 9 out of 10. Extrait. I would wear this every single day. High-end events, not high-end. This is my go-to when I want to smell like Aventus. I would wear this whenever I want to go and really slap people in the face. I'm talking weddings, I'm talking parties, I'm talking outdoors during the summertime. This is the one that I'm going with. But if I'm going somewhere where it's a little bit calmer and quieter, different story. So I would wear these with purpose, and those two purposes is how I'd wear them. Depending on your purpose, there's your answer. This is not going to be for everybody, but Simbad by Amouage was not trending until they repackaged it into now known as Elsewhere. They had some kind of exclusives, and so I believe that they just repackaged the original formulation into a different bottle, maybe to get around that or something like that, but the fragrance in itself is pretty good. I think that it's one of the most complex of the new lines in that exclusive bottle or style design, and this is a really rich and dark, ambery, earthy, patchouli, very sexy scent. It is definitely not going to be for everybody as a mass appealer, but if you're into your niche scents, if you like fragrances like Carlisle, this is more of an oriental, rich and resinous, and although it doesn't have a typical scent of honey, at least to my nose, it definitely portrays that style of sweetness. Performance for this one is one of the Arabiat that lasts all day, even in comparison to something like this. It's rich, it's long lasting, and it smells a lot more expensive. So strictly for complexity, strictly for performance and value, this is absolutely one of the best ones. You have been warned though, it's not a mass appealer. It's been a long time since I've actually raved about a French Avenue, mostly because I only rave about something I truly fall in love with. And I think since the space is becoming so diluted and become just back to back, copy after copy after copy, it's usually the ones that are lesser done that I truly enjoy. I mean, really, think about it. This is an Herba Pura take, but it's more refined. How many Herba Pura dupes have we had in the last, 6 months to 8 months? Ani by Nishani. How many of those have we had? Why the are you here? Put you out. Club de Nuit. How many Aventus clones are people really raving about? And even if another one other than Club de Nuit were thrown at me, honestly, it'd be really hard to already beat. Will I still look at it? Of course, but how do you make a 10 out of 10 and 11 out of 10? You have to draw the line somewhere. This, super rare. Not many people are believing in that scent to make a clone. And so that in itself is one of the biggest reasons why I don't think that any of the other dupes are really worthy of being here. It really has to make a little bit of a difference. And that's where Grow comes in. I think this is criminally underrated. Believe it or not, Grow started as a submission for AROMATIX. This is one of the first creations that Jean-Christophe sent over as a tonka bean spice. And the way that it smelled, and you guys know, for most of my creations, I'm all about the naturalistic approach. So when you smell this, it has one of, at the price, the most naturalistic smelling tonka bean. I will never forget the way that it smelled in the tub when they extracted the oils when I went to the Man factory for our muff actually, and how the tonka bean smelled. If I could relive that again, That's what this is. So by now you have kind of an understanding of what this fragrance means to me. I haven't hyped it. I've talked about it maybe 2-3 times. All honesty, I think that more people should know about this. If you're into the actual perfumery, this is from French Avenue. That is not a freaking dupe. Created by Jean-Christophe, smells like naturalistic tubs of tonka bean, which I don't really see many people doing, and also some darker, richer styles of spices, maybe cinnamon, etc., but it's very sexy. So, although it's not the most mass appealing in the world, it definitely is worthy of being one of the best, and so that's why it's here. One of the best, extremely underrated. If you pick this up, the best seasons to wear it is absolutely gonna be during the fall and the winter time, and you really have to enjoy darker and richer and just sexy ass fragrance, and borderline like chocolate vibes. Even though tonka bean is a little different, but I understand that. I mean, even before I was at the factory, I never really smelled a true tonka bean. So for me, it was a new experience, and if you wanna know what it smells like, here it is. Total performance, solid 7 to 8.5 hours. The only thing about this that may indicate a little bit cheap is gonna be the plastic tree trunk. Otherwise, the fragrance is gorgeous. The only reason I didn't take it is because it's not a true brief that stemmed from me. Although I appreciated the way it smelled, how naturalistic it was, I made a commitment to really starting something off from scratch. If I'm gonna release something into the world that has my name and that basically represents me, it should be some form or fashion, a true identity to me. Grow, very underrated. Since we're getting to the last one, it's only right we celebrate by burning some oud. Super expensive, Indian oud. Smells fantastic. And the last one on this list is Chorus Gold Absolute. I wore this the other day, having no idea what it's a dupe of. Initially, I thought it was Cedar Chic, and I was like, oh, this. I'm not doing this one. I'm gonna wait until they all come in, because I already know there's about 3 of them coming. This is inspired by Vibrato Absolute. I got the entire set, and I wasn't that impressed for the price. At the price point, makes a lot of sense. It's diffusive, it's fruity, it's musky, it's a beautiful fragrance, and now for 50 bucks, makes a lot more sense. Look, a lot of brands right now are just jumping on any opportunity to dupe anything. When I made that video, I had zero intention of any dupes coming out, but that's just the nature of the game, and it makes sense. And unfortunately, that's the reality of it. But what this channel does and what I do in my commitment to you is that I keep it real regardless of the scenario. I had zero involvement of what gets duped, but I have 100% involvement of wearing them, testing every aspect of it, letting you guys know when there are other ones, and keep it 100% real when there are better ones that are on the market, even if the better one is the original. Full comparison for the original, more than likely coming soon. I would not be surprised if we have another 5 fucking dupes coming. And now you know. Doesn't seem like many, but unfortunately, it seems to be the same ones coming out back to back to back to back. These were the best ones. My name is Nuit. Thank you for watching AROMATIX. I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.